moving this beyond just talking about women in coding, talking about diversity in general. I'm curious how you decided that you were going to approach that.
Well, I think it's really hard to ignore the fact that there are also very few people of color in this space. So that was really important to us to show that as well. We weren't able to dive into men of color as much, but they're obviously missing there too. I would have liked to have gone that route, but we really decided, okay, our story is more about women. But I think that people of color, socioeconomic diversity, people that are typically marginalized from the tech industry, I mean, that's a really big problem. And if we're missing half the population, as Cornelia says so well in the film, I mean, this is an issue. And by the year 2020, I think you got this, but there are going to be 1 million unfilled jobs in coding in the US alone. So if we don't pull from people of color, if we don't pull from different socioeconomic groups, and if we don't pull from women, then we're not going to be able to fill those jobs.
What frustrates me is, it was in the movie, that we were getting a really good participation in the 80s. And we saw this amazing, close to gender equality in the 80s. And then this, I don't know if it's hacker culture, I don't know what took over, but all of a sudden you see this decline.
Yes,
and it's very frustrating.
What happens typically in professions, and a lot of research, is once you hit a certain percentage of a minority in that field starts to decline in popularity or interest. So people start to get frustrated. Oh, there's a lot of women here. Let's start to change this profession. So you start to see some differences that start to happen when you get to a certain saturation. I think that's exactly what happened in the 80s. We started to see women get in there. And then, wait a second, there are some rumblings around that. The first few, it's okay, we'll let a few women in. But when you get to a certain point, they go, uh-oh, they could take this over. And then there's some toppling.
Have you heard about the female factor? So this is true. There was a study done at Carnegie Mellon, and it was reported in the Harvard Review, that regardless of anybody's individual IQ on a team or group of people, if you add a woman to that group, the collective IQ rises.